सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति। Verse number 33. 33.
अक्षराणामकारोऽस्मि द्वन्द्वः सामासिकस्य च अहमेवाक्षयः कालः धाताहं विश्वतो मुखः अक्षराणामकारोऽस्मि द्वन्द्वः सामासिकस्य च अहमेवाक्षयः कालः धाताहं विश्वतो मुखः.
Of letters, I am A. Kara. Dvandva, dual of all compounds. I am verily the everlasting time. I am the supporter facing all directions. Krishna is just continuing, explaining where you can see him or how he is present in the world. So for that he is giving these options. Of all letters, akshara, alphabets. It says, I am akara. A. The sound A is the beginning of all languages. All sound possibility starts from A. And all other letters were nothing but a modification of that sound A. That's it. You do something. Because A is the sound where you don't do anything. You just open your mouth, throw air out. You get the sound A. All other sounds we do something inside the mouth. You do something with your teeth, with your tongue. It touches. If the tongue were to touch in this position, in that position, the sound keeps changing. Then it comes out as something else. But essentially, all sounds are nothing but the singular sound A. Since this is the foundation of all sounds, number one. Number two, this is the starting of all sounds. Number three, this is the only sound which is effortless and pure sound. No modifications. A basic sound. Therefore, he says, of all aksharas, I am akara. Akara is A. Alpha. Isn't it? All languages you go. Something, so interesting here. All these languages starts only with that sound. Some knowledge those people must have had. We don't know how scientifically designed and all that. That we don't know about. Okay. Let's say they say Sanskrit has that study of sound itself. The first language. In fact, the Western world didn't know about this phonetics. The study of phonetics for these people came into picture only after they got exposed to Sanskrit. They must have had that knowledge. The sheer study of the letters, the sound that that it produces, how those sounds were arranged, how you study that is superb. It is just that knowledge. That's it, nothing else. And we had a separate study for that. That is the thing here. So of the letters, I am Akara. Then in the language, he goes next one. The moment he touches the language, he goes to the other aspect of that same thing. Just a similar ideas. That's about it. Just association of ideas. So the moment he spoke about, one thing with reference to churning of the ocean, association of idea, he gave so many things. You see, same way here. It's just association. Remember, he is not going about it in a very logical manner. One verse to another verse to another verse. There's no sequence here. Just random. But in that random, you see there is some thought association. That's about it. So don't try to see sequence here. But in that also, like we say, there is a method in the madness. Like that, there is something here. What is the connection is just that one triggers the memory of something else. So the moment he spoke about the sound, immediately he comes to the next one. I am this Samasikasya Dvandva. Samasa. Compound. When two words join, that is called samasa. Right? When two letters join, it's called sandhi. Little grammar, that's all. Basic grammar. So of all compounds, I am this specific compound called Dvandva. The Sanskrit language is so beautiful, I tell you. Just the language itself. It's so interesting how they join words. Words gets joined here. It becomes one word. And in the joining, it's not just, random. See, it's not random there. In English, in English also we join words. Footpath. Correct? Compound, no? Footpath is a compound. But that compounding there has no grammatical one. It's not based on the grammar. It is based on the functional utility, operation. It's based on the practical operation we join words in English. Whereas in Sanskrit, what they do is there is a grammar for that. There is a rule for that. And in that rule, they have certain specifications. And that's where it gets, so interesting to study. If you have a little mathematical inclination, you can study Sanskrit. You will enjoy. If you are not having that mathematical interest, Sanskrit study would be a torture person. So here, once you get used to it, it is so interesting. It is so valuable. Just the joy of it. I remember one of the fascinating instance. This Kanchi Acharya, the senior, Kanchi Periyar, when he took over, and he became the chief. When he took over, there was no one to tutor him, because the the person who is supposed to be before him, his own brother, but he was there only for about 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, he passed away. He was appointed by the previous one, passed away in a matter of weeks. So they don't know what to do. So they had to call. He was selected. And when he was selected, there is no senior, monk to, initiate him and guide him and tutor him and formally, induct him into the system and all that. So he has to take sannyas by himself. And he was just about, 13 years old, a child, when he took over. And then he has to study and, then all this, the Mata people, they had to guide him and help him out and, settle down and all those things. And then, of course, he settled down. Now, actually speaking, nobody needs to, help him to settle down. But anyway, they are supposed to do. What is the procedural details have to be told, no? Isn't it? So that way they were helping him and, teaching him, and he was learning all this thing. And then whatever it is, once he has taken the seat, he becomes the title Jagat Guru. And he was supposed to go to Kashi. I think he was going to Kashi. In Kashi, there is a group. They refused to accept him as Jagat Guru. Jagat Guru. What? We never accepted him as Jagat Guru unless we confer the title. We were the one who was supposed to give him the title. Now we have not given. He himself claims as Jagat Guru, will not be accepted. We will not, in the invitation, no, they have to print, isn't it? Who is coming? In the title, they said we will not print that Jagat Guru title. Jagat Guru is the way they are supposed to write their name. And the Shankar Mutt there, they approached him. We don't know what to do. We have to convince those people what to do now. He said, I don't know what they understand by the meaning of this word Jagat Guru, because that's where samasa is. Jagat Guru. He said, I don't know in what way those people have taken that meaning for the word samasa, that Jagat Guru. They must have been taking the one who is the Guru for the Jagat. That is a Jagat Guru, no? He said, yes. He says that's not the real meaning of it. Shankara did not mean in that way that we are supposed to be Jagat Gurus. We are Jagat Gurus when we take this position to whom the whole Jagat becomes a Guru. Is the meaning of Jagat Guru. Tell them that. Those fellows came to Kanchi, fell at his feet profusely. I said, very sorry. You have proved you are Jagat Guru. This is the play. Just the word. How you can extract meaning out of it. In that too, we have these words, they extract meanings. Like even this, this word, another one is also very popular one in this Sanskrit grammar groups, discuss. Rameshwara. What is the meaning of the word Rameshwara? Right? Narada had a doubt, it seems. The moment he gets a doubt, what to do? Rameshwara, what to do? First, he went straight to Shiva. So what is the meaning of the word Rameshwara? So he goes to Shiva. What is the meaning of this word Rameshwara? Please tell. So Shiva says, not clear. You have studied Vyakarana, now you are coming and asking me. But anyway, meaning of that is one who is Lord for Ishvara. That is Rama. That's the meaning of Rameshwara. So Ishvara's Ishvara is Rama. That's what the meaning of the word Rameshwara. Said, oh. And then straight he went to Vishnu. Same question. This way you should not go to many people with same question. Confuse you. He gave an answer. No, should keep quiet. This fellow could keep quiet. So he went to Vishnu. I have a doubt. What is the meaning of the word Rameshwara? What's a big difficulty? One who is Lord for Rama is Ishvara. That's the meaning of Rameshwara. Simple, no. These basic questions, don't ask me. Elementary questions, don't ask, okay? And he got totally confused. Which is correct now? Now you can't go back to Shiva. If you go back to Shiva, he'll finish you. I have already told you. So he thought, better go to his father. So he went to Brahma. Said, please tell me what is the meaning of the word Rameshwara. Same. Rama, Ishvara, same. That's the meaning of Rameshwara. What? This is called a samasa. You can play with it in any way you want. In that, they have different types are there. Of course, within that, there are subsets are there. I'm not going into the subsets. Broadly, in that samasa, we have 4 classifications are there. 4 types are there. Samasas. The first type or one type is where compound means 2 words are there. In the 2 words, if the accent is more on the first word, one type, right? Then you have the accent on the second word, not the first word. Then you have the third one. I'll give an example. Okay, I'm just stating what are the 4. The third one is the meaning or the accent is neither the first nor the second. Something else. There's no connection. Then you have equal value given to both the words. The 4 options are there. The first one is what is referred to as Avyayi Bhava. Avyayi Bhava. Is where you get the accent on the first word, emphasis on the first word. Upakumbha means near the vessel. Upakumbha, they say. Where is that? Near the vessel, you say. The accent is where? Near, isn't it? Kumbha is not the essential one, the first word, not the second word. Same way, you have this next one, they have is Tatpurusha Samasa. There, the accent is on the second word, not the first word. Sita Pati. Sita's husband. Sita Pati. Where is accent? Accent is more on Pati, not the first one. Emphasis on the end word. Then you have the third one, I said, where neither first nor second. Pitambara. Right. Pitambara. Referring to who? The moment I say Pitambara, thought goes to who? Where? Not that. Krishna. The wearer becomes the reference point, not the cloth. Not that yellow silk cloth. Yellow cloth is not his, is not the thing. Now you mean to say that in that entire country, Krishna is the only one wearing it? Huh? Rama has never used that, is it? Pitambaradari, when you say, immediately thought goes to that Pitambara means who? Third party. It's neither the first word nor the second word. Neither yellow nor cloth. It is the wearer. So the focus goes to the wearer, not the cloth. This is the third one. Then you have the fourth one, which is what he calls as Aham, Asmi. I am this. What? I am that Dvandva. Sukha Dukkha. Right? Sukha Dukkha, you say. Accent is where both equal weightage is given. That's called Dvandva. So he says, I am that. Of the samasas, I am this. Why? Why he is calling himself as this samasa, not the other three? Because all other three has a defect. This doesn't carry one defect. What is it? It gives equality to everything. Doesn't miss out anything. Now, Krishna's attempt is to explain what? How God is equally pervading everywhere. That is the idea. Now, when he is explaining that, suddenly if you were to say, I am Tatpurusha, Samasa, what will happen? That's why he chooses this and says, I am Dvandva. Among that samasas, I am Dvandva. Kshaya Kala Aham. A very interesting one now. What do you recognize here? Of letters, I am A. Dvandvas, Dvandva of all compounds. I am verily the everlasting time. I am the supporter facing all directions. Suddenly, he switches to something. He drops one. Amongst. You see that? Amongst, he is not saying. Now, suddenly, that word among is dropped. I am Kala. That's all. Kalaha, which is of type, which is of what type? Akshaya. Akshaya Kala. Now, our Kala is Kshayam. Kshayam means reducing. Akshaya is that which never comes to an end. Our time and all comes to an end, isn't it? all the knowledge that we have about time comes to end. Because there is a beginning, there is an end. He says, I am neither beginning nor end. Why says that is when you are discussing about time within the framework of the world, there is beginning, there is end. Now, what we fail to recognize is the world itself is existing in this idea called Kala. It's not that in the world there is time. The world is in time, which means that time is bigger than the world. So he says, I am that Akshaya Kala. Our Kala is Shaya Kala. Shaya Kala means our Kala, there is a beginning, there is an end, starting, ending, all that is there. Mughal period, Iron Age, Ice Age, this age, that age we study. Whether we say it properly or we give, they say could be, between, 3rd century to 5th century, 200 years gap. And casually, in the historians refer, he must have been between, 2nd century and the 4th century. Somewhere in between. Somewhere in between means what? 200 years, how a fellow is going to be in between somewhere? But still we have to refer, see, which is within the framework. What he is saying is, the very idea of you carrying, it never reduces. There is no end to it at all. It is endless. Endless means beginningless. Only that which is not began alone can be endless. Something which begins can never be endless. So when he says endless, that is why if you understand time, future stretches, past stretches to infinity. Isn't it? What time began? We can never give an answer. What time? One day it started, sir. Obviously, that should be Sunday. Why? Because we are having class on Sunday. Suppose if we shift the class to Monday, what will happen? Monday. Why it is like no clue. So he says, I am that everlasting time. I am the supporter, Dhata. Dhata aham Vishwato Mukha. Vishwato Mukha means facing all directions. Facing all directions means all pervading. Since I am all pervading, I am this Dhata, means the supporter. I support, I provide, I support the whole world. Dhata. Like the government supports people. By in the form of what? The form of providing what is needed for those people. It provides. He is a provider, supporter in the sense of that. Supporter in the sense he is the one who gives the benefits. How the benefits were given? Those benefits were not given randomly. Random distribution, nor those benefits are going to be given based on his stand. Because if he has to give it based on his thing, he will give infinite everything. So on what basis he is going to give? This is where this notion, idea of karma pala comes into picture. Karma pala comes in, is here. So God is what? He says, I am the data. Data means I am the one who gives the karma pala to you. To give to everyone equally, he has to be looking into everyone's account, isn't it? Therefore, what is he? He says, I am Vishwatomukha. I'm looking into everybody's account. You can't miss me. You can go anywhere in the world and hide, but I will be looking at you. Special satellite is there. You can hide. He'll catch you. And then give you the result depending upon whatever. So, aham data means I am the one who is the giver of your karma pala. Karma itself cannot produce a pala. Someone has to manage it to be given to you. So that's a derivation. Now derivation life we cannot go into. He just claims it. That's it. I am the supporter, full stop. You cannot question him here. It's just a declaration. So every time we face any result, we understand that as what? It is my karma. My karma coming out. Which karma and all that we will not know. Right? Don't think, immediately it has to be, that day I did this day, that has come and that has produced this and all. You cannot calculate because the complexity of that is impossible for you to figure out. It's like, imagine if I were to give you the audit report of a company. How many of you will be able to understand what is the real meaning in that? What does it mean? Can you decipher and find out whether they have inflated, whether this auditing is being done? Is it the real worth of it? It is not. But those who have that knowledge, they were able to see certain things in that, isn't it? A layman cannot see it. You know English. You can read the whole thing. But still, you cannot understand the connection. How that and this is coming in. So we say, what is the point? So that is how we operate here. So you can't figure out. But don't try to establish a link. But then one thing for sure says there has to be someone to be managing the whole show. Otherwise, it is difficult for us to believe that all this by itself happening with such orderliness. Complex system is functioning without anyone to manage it. Google Maps is managing itself. Even if you say it is an AI, that AI needs to be managed by somebody, AI is not going to be managing itself. That is not possible. If imagine one day AI decides to manage itself, then it's not AI. It becomes an evolved being, isn't it? It becomes an evolved being by itself. Like evolutes of monkeys are human, no? Like that evolutes of human will be that. After that, where we will be? How we keep monkeys? Rama, they take no with a stick. They tie a rope. A fellow will be carrying, and he holds a stick. That monkey will jump. Like that, we will all become a slave to that being. Don't say AI. That's a being. If it can self-manage itself, that is not possible. If we say action is lifeless, a lifeless action cannot be managing itself to produce the effect. So there has to be an intelligence which is managing the whole thing. He says, I am that intelligence managing the whole thing and giving you the appropriate result, for which I have to be of the nature of what? All pervading. So in the previous word, he said what? I am always there. You may be always there, but are you always everywhere? Next one, he comes to the space. The previous word is with reference to that idea of time. Next one is the idea of space. So I am eternal, I am all pervading. These are the two ideas. 34.
मृत्युः सर्वहरश्चाहम् उद्भवश्च भविष्यताम् कीर्तिश्रीर्वाक् च नारीणाम् स्मृतिर्मेधा धृतिः क्षमा मृत्युः सर्वहरश्चाहम् उद्भवश्च भविष्यताम् कीर्तिश्रीर्वाक् च नारीणाम् स्मृतिर्मेधा धृतिः क्षमा.
And I am the all-devouring death and the birth of future beings. Of the feminine, I am Kirti, fame, Shri, prosperity, Vak, speech, Smriti, memory, Medha, intelligence, Dhriti, firmness, and Shama, forgiveness. The previous verse, he said, I am infinite time. I am all-pervading space. Right? Now what he is coming to is, I am the meeting point of two. It's fascinating, sequence. That is. He puts it across in his own language. Okay, we need to understand that. I am that all-devouring death and the birth of future beings. So on one hand, what I'm doing? Destroying. The other hand, creating. That creation and destructions are going on, happening. The death means annihilation of the past. Birth means creation of the future. Origin, starting of future. So what is he? He is the present. He is a meeting point. He is a meeting point of the past and the future. It's exactly like the ocean saying, I am the one who is giving birth to the wave, and I am the one who is destroying the wave. I destroy the wave, I create a wave. I destroy the old wave which I created earlier. Now I'm going to create a new wave which I will destroy in later. So all this is happening by me. Then he gives another list, be very big list actually. Is of this Narina means of the feminine. Of the feminine words. In the words also we have no masculine, feminine, neutral. In English, we have very peculiar one. In neutral gender words are very different. In Sanskrit, we have very different one. Mala means what? Necklace. Inert object. Correct. But the word is feminine. So if you see carefully, all these Indian names, all women name will end either with A or E. Don't check. All names, almost 99% of names you see, it will end with A or end with E. Sound E. Fascinating. Because the words also, they keep it like that. They have the very interesting. That means necklace, but it's an inert object, but that word is feminine. Now don't ask me why it is like that. I don't know. Right? If you can find out, you find out and let me know. I don't know why it is kept as a, because you can't say, oh, it is only, women wear necklace. No, not necessarily. Men also wear garland. Every god has garland, right? So you can't say, men don't wear garlands. Of course, men also wear garlands. Mala, they will have, this also have. But then why it is given that feminine name? Yeah. So he says, of all words, of all feminine words, he picks up few words and says, that's what I am. And then there is another one also we have, that there is a pun here. Of all this, that feminine deities they are. These things were also considered as deities. There's a list that he gives, Kirti means fame. You can be famous for so many things. Veerappan is a very popular person, isn't it? Everybody knows Veerappan. But you are known for what is the point? Only then Kirti will come into picture. In English, we have that problem. Fame is used for everyone who is known. Now, everyone who is known doesn't become famous, doesn't become Kirti. Remember. You know that, no? One school teacher, the school, college event, they performed a dance for a song which came about 5 years back. If I tell the dance, everybody will remember the song. Jimiki Kambal. Pathirukingla? You seen Jimiki Kambal? In one college, a group of teachers, that Teachers' Day, a group of teachers wanted to have a performance. They performed a dance. And the dance became so popular, that one of the teacher was shot to such fame. Fellows have all these producers and everybody started approaching her. You act in our movies. Why? He danced in that song. The college. He says, I am here to teach the students. Simply with dance, get out. Same way, another girl, winking became so popular. One shot. That doesn't mean Kirti. Okay. Your fame should be because of your dharma. The following of a dharma should be giving you a fame. Then it is called kirti. Otherwise, it's not kirti. Popularity is not kirti. Mumbai. The prosperity, the rich, actual rich. Now we are not talking about philosophically you are rich. We are not talking about it. Actually you are rich. In your terms. There's actual, and I say what I mean is in your terms. It's not the ratio between your needs and your means and all. We are not talking here. See here means prosperity, wealth. It's not just wealth. It is also wealth of everything. The wealth of health is also called Shri. The wealth of knowledge is also called Shri. Remember, so it's not just a thing. So Shri is what? Anything that is desirable by you is called Shri. The most desirable is Shri. Vak, speech. The ability to speak. The speech means what? Speech means three things. Anytime you discuss about speech, immediately these three should come in your mind. Your speech should always be measured with these three parameters. Are you speaking the truth? Satyam. Okay. Is it having that pleasantness? Priyam. Satyam. Priyam. Third one. Is it good? Politeness. It should be polite, pleasing, truthful. Always your speech should carry these three with it. Polite, hitam. So what are the three? Satyam, Priyam, hitam. Wherever such speech were to be happening, that is Vak. I am that. Smriti means memory. Means all your knowledge or your capacity to remember. That's called the Smriti. Then application of that Smriti in the proper way is called Medha. It's called intelligence. Your capacity to receive the knowledge. Your capacity to retain that knowledge. And your capacity to reflect on that knowledge. Receiving capacity, retention capacity, and reflective capacity. That's Medha. And then if you can retrieve that, that's called a Smriti. Okay, that's a retrieval. Retrieval. You retrieve that knowledge. That's called a Smriti. That's the earlier point he said. Now, Medha is more fundamental and more comprehensive than Smriti. Medha. Dhriti means the firmness. The firmness with which you pursue whatever you want to pursue. The firmness with which you stand for your own conviction. The courage to stand along with your conviction. If you are convinced about something, stick to it. That capacity is called a dhriti. Don't worry, we'll deal with it later. More details coming later. So when we go there, we'll go in detail all that. Then Kshama, forgiveness. Now, Kshama also means, the capacity in you not to get disturbed. That's called Kshama. Internally, that will express as forgiveness. Right? After getting disturbed, if you say, I forgive you, is not called Kshama. Remember that. That's why it's important. Why this is important is, we will also say, sir, I have also forgiven people, sir. Why? Because the agitation is too much to handle. Now you can't handle that agitation. Therefore, what you do? I forgive you, get lost. That is not forgiveness, please. That is not Kshama. Then what is a necessary condition for Kshama? Necessary condition is, I am not disturbed internally. That non-disturbed state of my mind internally will manifest as forgiveness. After getting disturbed, saying forgiveness is not called a Kshama. You can call it something else. We don't know that. But that's not Kshama. That's all it is. So Kshama means this. So all this is what I am. The moment it comes to, feminine, he gives big list. I don't know why. Maybe there's a pun. One, if he says they'll come fighting, what? Why only this, is it? So he's been, very modern and diplomatic. He doesn't want to face, all this women's liberation group, So he knows that. So he says, see, for all those fellows, I've given 1, I'm giving you 7. He says, oh, for feminine, I am this. 35.
बृहत्साम तथा साम्नां गायत्री छन्दसामहं मासानां मार्गशीर्षोऽहं ऋतूनां कुसुमाकरः बृहत्साम तथा साम्नां गायत्री छन्दसामहं मासानां मार्गशीर्षोऽहं ऋतूनां कुसुमाकरः.
Also Brihat Sama of Sama hymns. I am Gayatri of meters. Of months, I am Margashirsha. Of seasons, the flowery season, spring. Now, this is easy for us to follow. I am this, flowery season. England has 4 seasons. India has 6 seasons. So he says, one of the seasons is this. I am that spring season. Because everything beams forth. Everything comes, is flowers. Life is flowering here. That period which everything flowers is the spring season. See, all other times you have to struggle to produce. During the spring season, you don't have to do anything. Keep quiet, it will come on its own. So it is so nice, so easy. Life is so pleasing at that time. So he says, I am that spring season. And Masanam means of the months, I am Margashirsha. This is the December, Jan. January period, which is supposed to be the time of the Brahma Muhurta period for the Devas. 1 year, 1 human year is 1 day for the Devas. Right. So that is divided into different sections. 8 sections they have. they divide a day into eight parts. In that, the last part is this, just before the sunrise. So which is the period of Brahma Muhurta period? For us, we have Brahma Muhurta, morning, 3:30 to 5:30. Is this Brahma Muhurta period? Sometimes there is a variance, okay? Sometimes it will become 4 to 6. Sometimes it is 3:20, 34, 3:24, like that will keep changing. There's no fixed one we have. So that keeps varying. But generally that's a period. So you can take it as that. So the period of early morning, which is most conducive for spiritual efforts. That is why during that period, we don't have any worldly celebrations. No celebrations, no festivals and all will be here at that time. No celebrations during this period between December and Jan. December 15 to Jan 15, something like that you can keep during that period. Very conducive for your spiritual effort. So he says, I am that period. I am Gayatri of meters. Gayatri Chandasamaham. Chandas means meter. The Vedic chanting has many meters, many chandas is there. Of that, one of the most prominent one is this Gayatri meter. For two reasons. One, this Gayatri meter is the meter in which we have hymns praising all deities. Right, Gayatri. Another uniqueness about this Gayatri meter is the first mantra of the Rig Veda is in this meter. Rig Veda first mantra is in this meter. So that Veda itself starts in this meter. Therefore, he says, I am that Gayatri. Then we have a uniqueness about this Gayatri. This Gayatri, the moment we say Gayatri, immediately we get to one mantra. And the meter, Gayatri meter, is divided in two ways. One group says 4 padas, 6 words each. Another one is 3 padas, 8 words. Either case, the total number of words in that mantra will be 24. Either they divide it like this. There is a group. So very orthodox one goes with 3 padas, 3 lines. 3 lines which we have. Each line will have 8 words. You can't have more than that. Not allowed. When they write poetries, there are rules for that. That meter should be like this, means it should fit into that thing. Only that many number of words are allowed to be used. And then this number of aksharas to be used also is there. Rules are like that. So here they have this 3. And one thing all of us know is this Gayatri mantra. Right. Gayatri mantra. Gayatri mantra, when we say, it is actually addressing to the sun god. Savitri is a sun god. So it is addressed to sun god, given out by this Vishwamitra Rishi. That is in this Gayatri meter. So the moment they say Gayatri, everyone will remember only that mantra. Gayatri Mantra. I'm not going to be explaining all that now. Okay. Don't expect me to explain what is Gayatri Mantra and all that. The Gayatri Mantra has this. It is supposed to be treated by very orthodox people, will not even say that in the public form, open, because it is supposed to be maintained as secrecy. Can't say that because it's a Brahma Upadesha. That's why when you see, when they go for this thread ceremony, suddenly you will find them going under, a towel. Suddenly they go under a towel. And the father is the one who is supposed to teach the child. That's the first mantra initiated to the child, which is supposed to be the essence of the Vedas. The essence of the entire Veda is this Gayatri Mantra. Since I have been initiated with that Gayatri Mantra, since I knew that Gayatri Mantra, we are all eligible to say we are not at fault. If we say, I know Veda, I've studied Vedas. Why? Because you know that Gayatri Mantra. If you know the Gayatri Mantra, that means you have studied the Vedas. If you have chanted the Gayatri Mantra. This Gayatri means this particular meter only, remember, nothing. But generally, if we have to specify, say for example, Gandhi. Anytime we use the word Gandhi, which is surname, isn't it? So many people carry that surname, no, Gandhi. But then when we say Gandhi, first thought comes to who? Without giving a specific name. Just I say Gandhi. But for all other people, what you have to do? You have to say that. Same way here, this Gayatri Mantra, when you say, it means only this given out by Vishwamitra Rishi. Only that is called as Gayatri Mantra. Other mantras and all you have to specify. Vishnu Gayatri, you have to say that. Only after you saying that as Vishnu Gayatri, it becomes a Shiva Gayatri Mantra. For every god, there is a Gayatri Mantra. Every god, all gods carry their, their own mantras. But without specifying any one of those things, you just say Gayatri Mantra, it means only this mantra given out by Vishwamitra. But all those mantras have that. And this Gayatri meter is the most powerful one, most efficient one. It's chanted by these people, and people do it in different ways. Gayatri Mantra has done this practice. One group of people do it as just, recitation. That's about it. Repeat. Then there are people who do it as a proper prayer. It is done as a proper prayer. One group just do that is where chanting comes into picture. So the first group just does the recitation. Second is where it is done as chanting, as prayer. Third one, do the same thing as dhyana, meditation. You can't do anything. You can just recite, meaning repeat. Like you will find these people repeating. They call it as Gayatri Japa. It's known as Gayatri Japa, but then how you do it? Same way, it is done with a different purpose also. The agenda for this purpose, for the agenda of chanting also varies. The manner in which you do and the idea with which you do. So it can be done, it is divided based on these two factors, remember. So the manner in which you do can be divided into three sections: recitation, chanting, meditating. Same way, if you were to go with the idea of, sir, the agenda for which, chanted for what? This chanting is done as prayaschitta or shuddhi, either for purification or as rectification. Or done something wrong, then you do it. And invariably, there are compulsorily it is to be done. Now the compulsion is this: whenever this Brahmin, when they take this dhanam, depending on what they take as dhanam, there is a rule they have. That's why this very orthodox Brahmins will not take dhanam easily. You have to beg them to take from you. Please accept. Please accept. Because he says, the moment I accept the dhanam from you, that much of my thing goes away. My power goes away. He says, whatever you give is nowhere near that. This is easy. That's not easy to get. So I'm not going to give you that. So when they do this, for whatever reason, there are certain rituals in that yajna, they are supposed to accept dhanam. You see, they have to ask. So when they have to ask, when they have to take that dhanam, they have to be doing some prayaschitta for that. What is the prayaschitta? Is this Gayatri mantra chanting. Chanting of this mantra is the prayaschitta for this. Or there are people who do it for purification. For self-purification also they do it. So either it is done for this prayaschitta or purification or shuddhi. So agenda can be this or that. And what is this Gayatri mantra? Essentially, why this Gayatri mantra is popular? The Savitri mantra. Why it is so popular? The first mantra initiated to the child. And what is that is talking about? What is this? Let my intellect be awakened. Not just my intellect, our intellect. Look at the universality of that boy to claim that. Says, we pray for that knowledge to awaken the intellect. The student is praying there. And without sun, there is no life possibilities. Like how that sunlight, one flash, the whole world is lit. One stroke. My intellect also should have that much power in it. In a flash, it should be able to understand and destroy ignorance. That sort of intellect is what we should carry. Let us all carry that sort of an intellect. Like how sun removes darkness silently. There's no violence. There's no killing. There's no bloodshed. Nothing there. How quietly it happens. You should see that in the mornings. How quiet it is. Quietly, say, suddenly you see everything is so clear. Just a matter of, you go for tea, it is dark. You go inside, come out, and see it's clear. Unbelievable. In the academy, we are studying there. Morning, we go for tea. While going for tea, it's dark. So dark it is. So we go, have tea, bring that, fill the cup, come back, finish the tea, change and go for yoga. Matter of 15 minutes maximum. Suddenly we see everything so clean, so perfect. It's amazing to see that. Says like that it clears. No noise, nothing. The sun comes up, all darkness disappears. Same way, let my intellect also have that clarity with which all this ignorance is destroyed. I am Brihat Sama of Sama hymns. Of that, the 3 Vedas, Sama Veda. In that Sama Veda, there is one particular portion called this Brihat Sama. This is so huge because it is so difficult and complex. Notes are there for it to be chanted, to be sung, to be precise. It's so difficult. It's more difficult to do, but also if it is done with such melody, it is very rare to find. You will not get it so easily. See, Samavedis itself is very less now. Very rare to find Samavedis. These two are very, you can find a lot. Yajurveda and the Rigveda people, those who have studied those. Samaveda is very, very rare to find. In that, to find a person who has mastered this Brihat Sama is all the more difficult. In that, there are various ways of chanting it. That if a person can do, it is so musical, so sublime to listen to. That's why all gods, fall for that. This is what Ravana did. How he got the blessings of Lord Shiva is chanting this Samaveda. Samaveda he chanted. And the fellow melted. All those gods, they melt for us. But it should be done in a particular manner. So it has certain rules are there. It's composed in that particular one. It has 4 padas, 4 lines. Each line has a specific number. Like we saw now, Gayatri. 3 lines, 8 each. Here, it's not like that. Here it is, first line will have 8 numbers in it. Second line also will have 8 numbers in it. Third line will have 12. Fourth line will have again 8. There's a different rule that is. That is the Brihat Chandas. So Brihat Sama is Samaveda chanted in that Brihat Chandas. Brihat Chandas is this. What is that? That's a meter. So when he is talking about that Brihat Chandas, immediately he remembered Gayatri meter. So he says, of all Chandas, don't think I am Brihat Chandas. I am Gayatri. I'm not Brihat. Even though Brihat Sama he says, but he says, no, I am not this. I am the Gayatri. Why? Because Gayatri has a uniqueness to it. So like that we need to understand. He says this is most difficult and more meaningful also. That is Brihat Sama. 36.
द्योतं छलयतामस्मि तेजस्तेजस्विनामहं जयोऽस्मि व्यवसायोऽस्मि सत्त्वं सत्त्ववतामहं द्योतं छलयतामस्मि तेजस्तेजस्विनामहम् जयोऽस्मि व्यवसायोऽस्मि सत्त्वं सत्त्ववतामहम्
I am gambling of the fraudulent. I am splendor of the splendid. I am victory. I am determination. I am sattva of the sattvic. I am gambling of the fraudulent. Fraudulent means all actions which is done with wrong. Of that I am gambling, he says. Very interesting one. Why? Not necessarily.
All left to chance, so there's no effort.
That's not gambling. That's a gambling you know of. That's not a gambling, actually. And it's not like, you go buy a lottery ticket. You don't call that as gambling. Today we have started using the word gambling for everything. See, a fellow doing business also claims, I'm doing gambling, sir. For anything, we don't know which word to be used for what. Would you like to have one more chapati? I'm meditating on that. Use words like that. The gambling, remember, it's like horse race. You do betting, no? In horse race. It does require intelligence. Know that? It does require intelligence. Playing cards requires intelligence. Now, other things, even though it is a wrong intention, it doesn't require intelligence for that. Remember. That's what the difference is. See, I am that which has that ability. That intelligence is needed. Other things you don't need intelligence for that. A fraud in the intelligence. If at all you claim that he is very intelligently playing, sir, his intelligence is played not to get caught, not for that action. Stealing, for example, the man who is stealing, plans and schemes, he also applies, no? Remember, that application is not for stealing. That application is not to get caught. They are not one and the same. The reason is different. But here, even to play that game, you need no intelligence. Card game, you want to play, you need intelligence. Otherwise, you'll lose the whole thing. That is why every government has allowed it, isn't it? If it is actual gambling, how come we allow that? You have a card room, no? In the clubs, you have a race course. Race course is there, right? Betting, it's like, imagine in this Olympics, they are all running. No? Same way horses are all running here. Olympics, they are all running. In a horse, if you can do the betting, why can't you do the betting on those people? What's wrong in that? Is it wrong? 10 horses running, one horse is going to win. Same way, 10 human beings are running, one human being is going to win. If you can bet on a horse, why can't you bet on a man? What's wrong? So either you say betting should not be done. You have a horse race, let the horse run. Whichever horse wins, that horse will be awarded a prize. We'll sit and watch and clap. That's it. Why for horse race we have this betting allowed? Cockroach race will be there. In Taiwan, they'll have cockroach race. I don't know, some country, I'm just saying Taiwan. Okay. And they'll have cockroach race. 2 cockroaches will run. Go. Oh, will the cockroach understand what you're speaking? Gambling is that he's referring to. Chalayatam. It requires X amount of intelligence here to play. You're not talking about this fraud actions. Actions which are not allowed. The Shastras say should not be done. But for few people, it is given as an exception. As an exception, what is given? As an exception, only this gambling is given. Card game is given. Dice game is given. See, so that says I am. Self has no, strictly speaking, he has no meaning. So don't look at it from the angle of the self. Remember that. He's not talking from the angle of the self. He is talking from the angle of Arjuna. For Arjuna to relate to. Because Arjuna will be carrying in his mind what? The dice game. If I become the king, first thing I'm going to do is ban this dice game from the country. No one should play. Anyone touches that dice, their hands will be chopped. This is what he will be thinking. So he says, I am that. So don't blame that. I am the splendor, Tejas, that the spiritual lustre, a sort of an aura. This is where the problem. The moment you use the word aura, immediately you will take. Something will be there, light will be coming out, coming in, red light, blue light, green light, all sorts of light colors. And you will see the photos also. Check in the net, you will get a lot of pictures. They study a man. After he goes into deep meditation, aura comes. Otherwise, aura will disappear. It's a makeup, You think, pre-makeup and post-makeup or what? This is just that person's ability. That there is something about that personality arresting. Physically, remember. See, if you do it purely physical, that is called ojas. Right? Pure physical. Like if you are having a disciplined life. You are exercising properly, you are eating properly, you are maintaining your fitness properly and all that, your weight and height, that all that is maintained properly means there is something about that personality. See, that is called ojas. Tejas has got nothing to do with their physical attractiveness. It is there something which is more than physical. Coming from their knowledge, coming out of their being. How do you explain? You can't explain that. If you understand, you understand. Ages. And I am that victory, Jaya. And Vyavasaya. Vyavasaya means determination. The determined effort, which leads to victory. I am sattva of the sattvic, the sattva guna, in the sattvic people. What makes the sattvic person? Sattvic person is the presence of the sattva guna dominating him. Now, sattvic person doesn't mean he will not have rajas in him, he will not have tamas in him. Remember this. Every human being is a combination of the three gunas, sattva, rajas, tamas. So here we see him as a sattvic guna in a person, in the sattvic person. He's not saying, I am the sattvic guna in a rajasic person. I am sattva guna in the tamasic person. Why? Because it never gets an opportunity to manifest. Only here it is a manifestation. The manifestation of sattva guna in the sattvic person is what? He will be pursuing realization. That's the meaning of it. If you have sattva in you, what will you be doing? You will be pursuing the self. It will take you to the self. So therefore he says, I am that. In the next class.